What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of UNDS. I'm your host, Ray Polanco Jr. This is episode 7. We made it to episode 7 through the quarantine. You guys have been riding out. I really appreciate you guys. Honestly, it's been crazy to be doing these streams at the crib every single week, especially when we're supposed to be in the studio, but you guys are rocking with us. We're doing the crazy giveaways. We got amazing guests, and today we have a super special guest and also one of my favorite sneaker giveaways of all time. So, of course, you already know I got to start the show off by showing you what I'm undsing. And I told you, this is one of my favorite giveaways. So, of course, I got to unds the 2002 pair of Nike Dunk Viotechs. It's only right. I give away Viotechs and I unds a pair of Viotechs. I used to have these way back in the day, ended up selling them because I moved from New York to Vegas by selling sneakers. So Viotechs I ended up losing, but I just got them back now. If you guys are looking at your screen right now, the Heat for Your Feet giveaway is a pair of Viotechs. I'm giving away 3 pairs. So what I need you guys to do right now, if you want 2 more entries for the Heat for Your Feet sneaker giveaway, all you got to do is share your broadcast, that share button right there on the bottom of your screen. And that gives you 2 extra entries to get into the Heat for Your Feet giveaway. I appreciate you guys. Caffeine does let me know who does share the broadcast. They drop that comment down below automatically for you. Shout out to Macaroni. Shout out to Galan. Shout out to everybody who's about to share the stream. Now, the reason why I wanted to give away 3 pairs is because Viotechs obviously come in small size and also super big size. So I wanted to make sure to include as many people as possible. Hopefully a female wins, hopefully a male wins, hopefully a kid wins, who knows? But shout out to everybody who's also sharing the broadcast right now. Now, without further ado, I want to introduce our very special guest. Shout out to everybody who's sharing the broadcast still. I see you, size 14, Travis Bacon. Now, what I want to do is I want to introduce a very special guest. This episode means a lot to me because me coming up as a kid, I got laughed at coming from the Bronx, and I love skateboarding. Hip hop introduced me to skateboarding. So to have this OG here is legendary on this show. You guys got a sneak peek, but without further ado, let's get that collage going so you guys can see our special guest, Stevie Williams, hailing from Philadelphia, residing on the West Coast. So similar to like me, East Coast dude, living on the West Coast. Gotta love that bi-coastal. But as you can see here, Steve Williams is known for his brand DGK, his signature shoes at DC, his legendary skateboarding. You got guys like Lil Wayne looking up to Stevie from a skateboarding perspective, a culture perspective. And you know what I mean? Like, this is going to be a really great conversation. I'm excited for you guys to really, really, really ask some amazing questions, dive in. Stevie's a super cool dude, so don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated to rap with him. Now, let's all give a round of applause. Drop those applause emojis. Let's welcome Stevie Williams to the show. Stevie, what's good, sir? How are you?
What's the deal? What's the deal?
Live chat is giving you a heavy round of applause right now.
I appreciate
everybody
going
crazy.
You feel me? What's up? What's up?
Yo, this episode's gonna feel good, man. I love speaking to my people from the East Coast who now live on the West Coast, because like getting that bi-coastal experience is, incredible. How is the weather right now where you at right now?
Man, the weather's beautiful right now. I ain't even gonna front. It's just being stuck in the house and not being able to enjoy the weather. Just looking at it is it's heartbreaking, man. I ain't even gonna front.
I hear you. I hope we don't have to spend the whole spring and the summer in the house, quarantined. Hopefully all that stuff gets settled and things like that. Everybody in the family is good and safe, yeah?
Yeah, everybody's straight, safe, and just doing what's necessary to beat this thing so we can all get outside. And I need to get back on my board.
I hear you, dude. I hear you.
Yeah.
I love being outside. One of the reasons that keeps me on the West Coast is like the beach. When I was growing up in the Bronx, I never had access to the beach, obviously, in New York City. Yeah. But so I'm on the beach all the time whenever I got free time. Do you feel the same way kind of coming from the East Coast? Like the beach is like a luxury?
Yeah, the beach is definitely a luxury, like coming from Philly. My birthday in December. So when I moved to LA, one of my things when I first moved out there was just to hit the beach on my birthday.
Yeah.
Just because I grew up with it's snowing all the time. And then to be at the beach in December and it's like 80 degrees is priceless. You know, front. It's dope, man.
I've been on the West Coast for maybe about 8 or 9 years, and it's still a beautiful feeling to, like you said, be on the beach in the wintertime. That's like one of the dopest feelings.
It's like skating at the beach in the wintertime when it feel like the summertime. It just do something for you, man. Well, do something for me, you know, make me feel like I'm in the right place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I never knew how important sun was until I got to the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like, sun is very important. You know what I mean?
Important for the soul.
Exactly. And, you know, I wanted to kick this episode off understanding that when we talk about, it's crazy to say that we're in 2020, because when you talk about 1999, 95, early 2000s, it seems like so long ago, and there's legit kids who are no longer in high school who were born in 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wanted to flash forward a little bit of Quentin Tarantino vibe to give people who may not know who you are a little bit of idea of what you mean to the culture, why you're on the show, why, you know, people dress the way they do, even if they may or may not know you. Now, to debut one of his most anticipated sneakers, Virgil Abloh sent you a very special pair, probably I think the first pair, if I'm not mistaken, of off-white dunks. And I think this was a surprise to everybody. Like, he wrote your name, Stevie Williams, on it, and he delivered it to you, and you did exactly what you do best. You skated them. It's a piece of art. It's a work of art. Can you talk to me a little bit about what that meant to you to see Virgil Abloh, you know, menswear director at Louis Vuitton, killing it at Off-White, killing it at Nike, to say, yo, Stevie Williams, you're the guy who deserves this sneaker, and he personally gifted it to you. How did that feel?
Man, to be honest with you, it was a blessing because, you know, I don't have a shoe sponsor, and to get to where I'm at in my career, to not have a shoe sponsor is a good thing, because now I can skate in whatever I want to, try out different things, different shoes. With me, I can do different tricks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when Virgil hit me up and was like, yo, can you skate in these dunks? It wasn't even those green ones. It was the red ones with the orange. And then I got them. I was skating in them. And then my homie had hit me and was like, yo, look what Virgil did. And I went on his Instagram, and I seen that he posted that picture with the box and my name written on them. And I was like, oh shit, that was different. You know, it was a little I was a little excited because I'm a fan, and I also didn't know really what to do with the sneakers. So when I posted it, you know, people was like, yo, don't skate in it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, man, as soon as I get these things, I'm ripping them apart. So
you have to.
It turned out to be dope, though.
Yeah, that was dope. What do you think that the Virgil Abloh, you're not somebody who needs a cosign at all, but I'm just curious on, like, when Drake features an artist on his record, that artist is in a different stratosphere. How do you feel like Virgil Abloh putting you on his platform? What do you think that did for you in terms of, like, the youth culture today? Did you see a lot of people reaching out to you and, like, really loving the fact that he paid homage, or what did you see in terms of impact from, you know, his platform?
It was pretty dope. The impact was amazing. It was somebody that actually respected the culture. I mean, I can't really say I'm on his, like, platform. It's more so like the appreciation was just so real and authentic that there's a lot of people that came through the skate industry and, you know, body snatched and just, you know, came down, observed the style, took it and ran with it, you know, and it was dope for the timing of Virgil and the kids that's so hype on him being a great designer, that he was able to introduced me to the newer generation as somebody iconic or authentic to what he actually believes in as a designer, which was pretty cool. Like I couldn't do that for myself. I wasn't really planning on doing that, to be honest with you. But when you say I didn't need a cosigner, when it comes to the new generation, if I would need a cosigner, that would be the best cosigner ever. You know what I'm saying? So it was a spark. It was a spark for me. My kids enjoy it and love it. It's dope that the kids can appreciate or see what I've actually done for the culture, and then the recognition is priceless. You know what I mean? It's dope.
Yeah, I mean, I you know, I've been watching interviews about you for years, and one thing that I see very consistent with you is that, you know, all you ever wanted was your props. That's it.
That's
like,
it.
You know what I mean? So to see you get props from a dude who's killing it, I know that means a lot to you, and I think that's really good. You know,
I actually let him know that it meant a lot. You know what I mean? Because people probably think that I have it all, or I've enjoyed all of the success and don't need anything more. I probably never need a cosign, blah, 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 blah. But it's something like that that makes me feel like, you know, I do need a cosign sometimes. I do love to push the culture forward. I'm never really in it for the money. And I started all of this just for my props of being original. And someone like Virgil to actually acknowledge that and put the kids on and kind of stamp originality is why I go so hard. And you can't buy that type of stuff. And to be appreciated for somebody that's original and real, I mean, yeah, that was what it was. You know what I mean? That was exactly what it was.
There was people in the live chat who were saying real recognize real. And I love that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Showing love, and at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And we spoke a little bit about today's time and what Nike is doing with the dunks and trying to reintroduce their the energy into Nike SB with their dunks today. I feel like back when Nike SB was starting, the skate sneakers that really set it off for skateboarding fashion culture that really made the impact before dunks were, SB dunks. I want to take a look at some of the original skate shoes that really made an impact. So you got three sneakers. You got the Deep Real Osiris. You got your signature shoe from DC right there on the bottom.
Yeah.
And you got your partner who was riding with you on DC had a monster shoe as well. I remember seeing those. I think what you guys were doing on DC, especially you yourself, like I personally never seen DC sneakers being worn in the hood. And between you and Josh, like those were the joints that I've never, that was my first introduction to DC. Because before DC was just kind of like Limp Bizkit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like you guys made DC cool in the hood, like wearing jerseys. Literally, I texted my uncle when I was like setting up this show. I texted my uncle your pair and the other joints, and I was just like, "Yo, Unc, you got to get back on these." He was really big into those joints, and he got me into them as well. So, can you talk a little bit about like how that time when you got your first signature shoe with DC? Skate sneakers are more bulky, chunkier, a lot more padding and stuff like that. Do you feel like those type of sneakers really were the support you needed for skateboarding? Because I know you're a fashion dude. You'll skate in whatever. You skate in the Air Max 95s. You skate in whatever. You skate in Nike. You skate in everything. So I'm curious on like, in terms of like the style, the chunkiness of the skate shoe back in the early 2000s, do you feel like that was, really great for skateboarding, the feel and all that stuff? What was your experience?
I mean, it was the style for the time. And at that time, when I first got on DC, I was coming straight from the hood.
Yeah.
So I had to wear DCs. So at that time, it wasn't cool to be no skater in the hood. it wasn't even cool to wear no skate shoes in the hood.
Yeah.
So I tried to wear the DCs as cool as possible when I was in the hood, just to get respect from the hood and around my way and my family. Mm-hmm. And they still wasn't really rocking with DC like that. But what they was rocking with was the fact that I was going so hard with it, and they was busting me down with a crazy bag that I ain't had no choice but to like put on. And you know, I'm heavy into hip hop, and around that time, Beanie Siegel was killing Philadelphia. Jay-Z was the biggest artist. Allen Iverson was repping the Sixers.
Yeah.
I just felt like this was my opportunity to put on for my city, put on for skateboarding, put on for hip hop, put on for my family. And whether I liked the shoes, whether they was bulky or not, when DC came out with my shoe, it kind of represented somewhat of a street hood basketball hip hop style. And I think a lot of the kids around the world took to that style, and it gave people another identity to go after, other than being, you know, Limp Bizkit or rock and roll or heavy metal. It was like, wow, this is a hip hop b-boy inner city image that the kids can relate to way better than what we was forced to relate to. And you know what I mean? It was dope to break that mold. Yo. Yeah. I didn't even know I was breaking that mold at that time. I was just so happy to catch a check being out the hood and not being homeless no more, that you could have gave me some whatever sneakers, I would have made them hot. You know what I mean? It was whatever. Yeah.
What's interesting is I agree with you 100%. When I look at your shoe versus the other DC skater shoes, yours had like, it just had like that feeling, like it looked like something that like if Jordan was skateboarding, he would wear. If T-Mac was skateboarding, he would wear.
That was the vibe. That was the vibe. And shout out to my man Sung at DC for taking me to a bunch of sneaker stores and actually really seeing where my head was at. Because I always shopped at Foot Locker. You give me some cash, I'm going straight to the Foot Locker and go get me some sneakers. And that was my whole thing with skating. And when I got a chance to really understand what I wanted to do, that's when I started trying to change it from being a bulky shoe to just being a regular shoe. And I left DC when my contract was up. Yeah. And I tried to push the envelope with Reebok when they had Reebok RBK. Yeah. So we had DGK by RBK, and I was in the lineup with like Allen Iverson, everybody I looked up to at that time. I wound up being in the lineup with them: Peyton Manning, Baron Davis, The Gang, Allen Iverson, Yao Ming, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Pharrell, and you had Stevie Williams. And at that time, it was like, man, this is what we want to see. But I think that was still ahead of its time, because the streets still didn't accept it, no matter if I was lined up next to Jay-Z or not. They still didn't understand how dope it was, and I still had a longer fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate that you have the awareness to know that, like, you know, it was ahead of its time, because now it's everything. You know what I mean? Like, there's skateboarders who are collaborating with all different types of brands and all that stuff, and people love it now. You know, like
I would get it back then when I would try to do those things. It would be like, well, we don't know. We don't really believe that Black people skateboard, so we're going to go with this. And I'm like, well, I guess you don't believe that Black people skateboard. And this, after going through so much of that, trying to convince companies and inner city popularity that this is really something dope. Yeah, it gets a little discouraging after a while, because it's like, well, damn, maybe it ain't really that dope. Maybe I'm the only one fighting for something that,
right?
You know, it get kind of weird after a while.
Down those barriers.
Yeah, it get hard breaking down those barriers, and then as I stopped like trying to go so hard, and like my kids started developing and things like that, it just kind of made me more into like, all right, well, let me just appreciate what comes out instead of trying to be in the dude to be the first one to bring something out. Because every time I try to do something first, it was like I always got pushed to the back. And then when I got to the back, I would see everybody be successful at what I tried 3 years earlier. It's like, that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes. I ain't even gonna front. I mean, so with Virgil, he really like, he really like gave me a good recognition high five, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I definitely understand what you're saying. I think, there's this phrase that I don't know the exact quote, but they're basically like, the person who create the wave typically doesn't get the benefit off the wave the most. And, I think that it's a very unique position to be. People talk about influence and influencers today, but like you were saying, you weren't trying to influence anybody. You were just trying to do your thing, make your money, and get out the hood. And I think that passion, that talent mixed with like that sense of urgency is like, the perfect combination for, creative history. I interviewed like Raekwon a few years ago, and he had something similar to say when I asked him. I was like, yo, like Wu-Tang is all, you can go to a Wu-Tang concert in Japan, and they know every single lyric. I was just like, how does that feel coming from the hood? Like, he's a global. He was like, yo, we had no clue we were doing this. We were just making money and trying to get out the hood.
Yeah, trying to get out the hood.
I think that's a conversation that maybe looked over when people see yourself. They might see the success, the brands, the jewelry, the cars, and all this stuff. That the deeper story, which we like to dive deep in on this show on UNDS, is like, it took a lot to get to getting sponsored, to getting your own signature shoe, to getting to Reebok and being on that all-star cast, to getting your own brand, doing a whole bunch of different things. And more than just the accolades, I think that deserves more of a conversation, because I would argue that based off of your experience, that a lot of people created their formulas learning from your mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's.
I don't really look at them as mistakes because, everything flows from me through God. You know what I mean?
I hear that.
A lot of things may not be meant for me. Some things may be meant for me to have somebody else see the vision that becomes complete for them, and if that completes and makes their life successful, I'm just like a vessel. You know what I mean? So I can't sit back and dwell or be mad over things that I didn't complete. Like homework in a sense. I can't be mad if I get a F on uncompleted homework. So I learned to complete what I think I need for myself and a peace of mind that works well for my authenticity and my family and everything that I've stood for, regardless of if I make it big or not. I really just started all of this stuff because I really thrive off of doubt. I really do. Like, I thrive off of doubt. Because if I'm not doubted, then it makes me feel, I'm just weird like that. Like,
you might get comfortable.
I don't have everything figured out. Yeah. Like, I have visions, I have formulas. I try things. Some things work, some things don't work. But if you doubt me, that will make it the fuck work. Sorry, excuse my language. But if I'm doubted, that's what will make me really fine tune in the kinks and cracks and crevices of what really went wrong and how I could be a part of the solution and not the problem to get the results that I intend to. So there's a lot of integrity, there's a lot of intention, there's a lot of foresight, there's a lot of failures, there's a lot of information, a lot of good people around, a lot of bad people around, a lot of misinformation, but there's drive and doubt that gets me that much more closer to the finish line. So I can look back and see things and be like, yeah, I tried that. It didn't work for me. And I'm glad it worked for you. And I give you your props. So it ain't like, what could I be mad at? You know what I mean? If it works well for you and you did right with that for you and your family and God blessed you, then God bless you, yo. Straight up.
Yeah, I respect that. You know, like
yeah,
I agree in a lot of ways. You know, yeah, I don't know what it's like to grow up in Philly. I know what it's like growing up in the Bronx and, you know, similar circumstances. And I know that, like, I always knew that I wanted to document culture. There were people who were creating culture like yourself. And I knew that what was also important were people documenting the culture people were creating. And I knew that, you know, I knew early on, I was like, yo, so much dope stuff is happening around me that I gotta document it and show people what's going on, because I'm in the middle of it. Like, this is, you know, taking photos of sneakers and, you know, documenting different lines and events. It wasn't something I was doing just because I heard it was popping. I was doing it because that was just what I would do on the weekends.
Yeah, you had the passion.
And I never felt like connected to anything. Again, coming from the Bronx, I knew I didn't want to play basketball, and I didn't want to sell drugs. I just didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And once I picked up a camera, I was like, oh, this is crazy. It opens so many doors.
Yeah.
And, you know how parents are. They want you to have like an established career. You know, I understand that. So my moms and my dad were just like, photographer, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, I was just like, yo, I want to move into a studio, start my photography thing. I want to move to Vegas. They were just like, yo, you need to get a real job. And I was just like, and that doubt, I still talk to my parents today. I'm just like, yo, remember when you didn't believe in it, and I had to move across the country and make it happen. And I'm happy I could take care of you guys now and really enjoy myself. Because I think maybe the underlying theme of what we're trying to say is, when people doubt you, you're confident enough that you're fulfilling your personal happiness. You know,
absolutely, yeah. And it's empowerment for people that may not understand or have the same foresight as you for a vision, let alone if anybody has a vision for themselves 10 days from now. You know what I mean? Yeah. But where do you see yourself? Like, and how do you see yourself? And what are you going to be doing when you get there? Like, those are the things I used to ask myself when I was a kid, because I knew I wanted to be and go somewhere. I just didn't know, like, where it was going to take me. But now that I kind of have a grip on what it is to have a life, because I have 2 teenagers, and it's real comforting to let them know my mistakes firsthand. And then it's also therapy to get them out of my system, to acknowledge the mistakes that I've made, to let them know that, you know, I'm here for you, no matter if you make these mistakes or not. Here goes some cultural advice from what's already been done from my proven track record. And it's good because, like, as you can go look in YouTube and all of these like documented things, it helps me as a better father explain to my kids the sacrifices that I had to make by not being a father around them there all the time, because the person that I am, I have to share and kind of influence the world too. It's weird. Like, so my fight stopped being about more like, oh, well, how original can I be with some sneakers? Because I was so far ahead. It was more like, how can I be authentic for my kids and for my brand DGK, for the culture and the generations of kids that respect originality and not sell out pop culture. Kids that respect being authentic and being clicked up with their homies. Like, just things that really made me who I was. I started to see that at a point I was losing that. And at a point I was losing my kids too, because I was chasing something that I really wasn't trying to be. I just really just wanted the props for just taking on such a obstacle of skateboarding and actually making it cool enough for kids to respect it and take it and run with it and be original and be stylish and don't be the norm, even though it's hard. Just don't settle for the status quo, bro. If you got it in you, go for it. I'm the dude that's going to tell you, go for it. I'm not going to say follow them, do what they do. I'm going to say, if you got something in you that you believe in, Stevie going to tell you, you should go for that, Even if it don't work, you should try it out. As long as it ain't like getting you in trouble or getting you killed or something like that. But if you got something in you that nobody knows that you have and you think that it's special, and if you express it and it makes you feel great, do that. Don't suppress that and go hang out with the normal people and do what they do. And then you hiding this whole thing that you had inside, because after a while that dies. And then now you stuck being normal when you knew you had it in you. And then you watch somebody do what you had, that special talent. And now you sit up there hating on them like, oh, I used to do that. Like, no, you didn't. Because if you really wanted to do it, you would have really did it. You won't be sitting at the park talking about what you could have been doing.
Yep. Do not let yourself be bitter. Let yourself be better. And
it's your choice. It's not the choice of your friends around you. It's not the choice of your parents. It's not the choice of your brothers or your sisters. It's your choice. And if you choose to suppress your talent to be normal with everybody else, then you're just a waste of talent. And that's with anything. That's with anything. That's with anything. Don't be a waste of talent, bro.
That's 100% real. And I think, I appreciate you for opening up and sharing those things, because like you said, a lot of people see the success. They don't see the sacrifice. They don't see the hardship. They think once you make it out, your problems are solved. Oh, you made your first meal. You don't got no more problems. That's not it.
That's when the problems start. Like the real problems, to be honest with you. But it's really like, it's always going to be problems.
Yeah.
Just don't be a part of the problem.
I love
what I'm saying? If you want to express yourself, make sure you get your point across. There's a lot of things that you can do to educate yourself, to further yourself, even if you have a brand or not. And originality is always key. That's all I can say.
Originality.
And you'll get laughed at. You'll get stones thrown at you. You'll get backs turned on you for being original. But if you stick with it, originality is authentic, no matter what.
100%.
No matter what.
I love that. Like what you were saying earlier, you were just like, you were doing something and you were happy with it and you were excited to see how far people can take it and run with it. Now, there's a lot of people taking it and running with it. Some people are taking it too far and running with it. And I wanted to talk about my favorite segment that we do on the show now. It's called Wow, That's Crazy. So for this week, the brand that's taking it too far, Margiela is selling a destroyed and melted skate shoe for $1,600. It's probably $1,900 after tax, depending on where you at. Yo, Stevie, if you knew you can take your old DC joints, put some tape on it, and sell them for $2,000, would you have changed the retail price on those skate shoes?
Hey man, don't tell nobody. I'm about to do that right now. I got some tape in the back. I got some old sneaks. They might not be $1,600, but they might be $1,200. Hey, it seems like you can get away. With whatever, yo. Back in the day, there was no way in hell you could even walk around. Because this is the crazy thing. It's so out of hand right now that how are you gonna laugh at somebody like me for riding a skateboard and I'm looking at you and you got these crazy shoes on, and it's like, I don't know. But then I can't knock Margiela either, because they're iconic brand and maybe they're pushing the envelope for fashion. Hey man, listen.
It's something we like to call on this show is a fine line between appreciation and appropriation.
Facts.
And, honestly, I would love to see this shoe being, hopefully, I didn't see their campaign, but hopefully they did a campaign they put money in a skater's pocket for this. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully.
Well, that's the thing. When it comes to these high-end fashion brands, they pick and choose what skaters they want.
Right.
There's no set. It ain't no set nothing, And that's why it was so dope for Virgil to bless me and post me, and Off-White posted it, and it brought some real authenticity to bridging the gap between fashion. Because I'm gonna say this: back in the day when Raekwon and them and Wu-Tang was pumping Polo and Tommy Hilfiger, it was dope because the placebo effect of us coming out the hood, being able to have money to shop at Macy's, to buy Tommy Hilfiger and Polo. I mean, that was what it was, you know? But if you fast forward now, Virgil is the new Tommy Hilfiger. You understand what I'm saying? V Long is the new Polo, and DGK and Diamond and Supreme and all that stuff is in there too. Now we're a part of the new culture that these kids is rapping about, skating about, like trending about. And that feels good for me too, to be a part of that conversation with the new influencers and designers of today.
Yeah.
Like, I feel 1,000% appreciative of being on that platform, because I always tell my kids and my homies and my family is that they don't make monuments of the weak. You know what I mean? So I have no choice but to keep going hard and be strong at what I do, no matter if people like it or not. Because when I'm dead and gone, I will hope they will put a Stevie Williams monument up. And you know what I'm saying? Things like that I work hard for, that it means something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't about the cash. It's about what I did for the culture and how I altered this shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's the next step. You know, when it comes to Philly, you got Allen Iverson for ball, and you got Stevie for skate. You know what I mean? Like, you guys gave a lot of people hope in a place where there's not a lot of hope. You know what I'm saying? I always try to think about, I never try to argue or try to talk down to kids who are new to the culture or just new to things. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say people who just discovered you through that Virgil post and they never knew about you. I never look down on those type of people at all. What I like to do is I like to kind of show them, okay, cool, this is what you think is dope. If you care about storytelling, if you care about the roots,
the art,
let me show you
about the art.
Yeah, if you care about the art, let me give you like the full spectrum of the story. I mean, even today, for example, you got Travis Scott and Fortnite doing their first ever world tour in a video game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just started today, and it goes for like the next 3 days. And when it comes to video games and culture, like the way it's so synonymous today is something that began many, many, many years ago. So shout out to Travis Scott. I love Travis Scott. He's hype.
Yeah, I love Travis. That's my dog. I like Travis.
He's one of the best performers out there.
Absolutely.
And when I think about video games and I think about culture, I want to take it back to Tony Hawk video games. And when you were on Tony Hawk, like, I love guys like Ryan Caballero and like Bucky Lasek and stuff like that. But when you were on Tony Hawk, wearing your own brand and a do-rag, that was next level.
Yeah, that was next level.
You know what I mean? Like, that was, you know, that we obviously didn't call it swag back then, but that's swag on 100 right there.
Yeah.
Not too many people are featured in a video game wearing their own brand. Can you talk about like this experience, like, you know, filming it or doing the voiceover or doing like the graphics? What was that experience like?
I mean, to be honest with you, at that time, it was like no matter what I did, I was just being just me, and it wouldn't be right if they didn't have everything that was me in that video. Yeah. So I think that might have been the first do-rag in that video. Yeah. You know, they did a lot. Camouflage, they put all the DGK graphics up there. They really helped me push my brand when I was just really like a 23-year-old new entrepreneur. But I used the platforms. Me and Tony Hawk are really good friends. I asked him for as much help as possible to help me push whatever. He's like, yo, man, push whatever. And then when I was on Reebok, a lot of that stuff in there is like the Reebok stuff. So Reebok paid for a lot of things to help the promotion, to push the culture. And that's what I want everybody to understand about me. It's like I may have done a lot of deals, but every deal that I've done, I always had in mind for me to push the culture forward. You understand what I'm saying? It's not about me. It's about me being a vessel to push what I believe in and what I think is appropriate for growth. And it grew. It grew. It really did.
That's important. You know, I try to like remind people that no matter what they think about a project, try to think a little bit deeper. So for instance, when you talk about like you were the first to do many things, right? And people may have not caught on the wave or they were hating on it. What I try to tell people these days is like, yo, if you see something happening, try to look a little deeper, because even if you don't agree with it in terms of like you think it's dope or it's corny or whatever the case is, think about how much money is being poured into this new culture that wasn't there before. So look at this person beyond just like the I want to say like,
listen, it's going to be the kids of this generation that's in the position of power that actually understand how important culture is to change the envelope for the future. Mm-hmm. Because the things that I went against, as dope as it was, I know for a fact if the kids today was in a position of power to push the envelope, to help Stevie push the envelope to do what I was doing, I think today they would get it. What I was up against was old timers that come from generations before us that think that riding a skateboard is a magic trick, or paying $300 for some sneakers or $1,200 for some sneakers is outrageous, or doing things independently and not depending on the system is crazy. But we all, me and a lot of other people broke those barriers for the generation now to understand how meaningful culture is and how you have to use it to push it forward, or we all will be left with nothing.
Yeah. When you talk about culture, think about this. How crazy, like we talked about the Margiela thing, right? Somebody in the live chat had mentioned tech decks, like the finger decks. How crazy that skateboarding blew up so much that like when kids couldn't go outside and skate, they would just be in the lunchroom just like using the tech decks and like learning all this stuff.
That's what I mean. Like it takes innovation and creativity to think about, okay, I was in trouble. I used to be a little bad troublemaker. So I was in trouble on punishment all the time. And my mom knew the only thing that would get me to probably straighten up was she took my skateboard away. Wow. But I was in the house playing with the remote control like it was a tech deck. So it takes somebody to say, you know what, I'm not the best skateboarder, but I'm going to go and design a mini skateboard, and I'm going to create a thing called tech deck. And then even though I'm not a pro skater, I'm still going to push the culture forward. Because if you look at everything and the results of everything that's been successful, at least 10 to 15% of that stuff has pushed the culture forward, even if it was inspired, copied, or influenced by something in the past, right? So what are you going to do with what you have that God has given you special in your life? Now, are you going to use that and abuse it? Or are you going to use that and push the envelope forward because that may be your obligation? And these are the things that was told to me by my parents and my family, that, yo, you are obligated now to basically make sure that these kids in the hood know what time it is. And I was like, yo, that's not my job. And they looking at me like, yo, that is your effing job. Your job is to make sure that you let these little kids know that, yo, you can make it out of this. And don't come back here until you do that. So that's why we have Say by Skateboarding. That's why we go to the hoods. That's why we go around the world and we give back. And I let all of the kids know.
Really important. I like much respect for that program, because a lot of people make it out the hood but never come back to like help pull other people up.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't.
You realize that
sometimes you can't.
You were blessed with skateboarding talent, and you're allowing that yourself to be a vessel to help other people to find, that passion.
Yeah, and like I said, it ain't even just skateboarding. It's more so like the mindset of the individual or individuals that we all want to get out of a messed up circumstance. Even if you're not from the hood or you're from the suburbs, you never know what kind of circumstance the next person or the next household has, no matter how they come outside with their smile on and hop in whatever kind of car or bike. Like everybody has circumstances that they deal with. You understand what I'm saying? And nobody's perfect. So when you can understand how to help push positivity forward with a culture backed by the right brands, I mean, come on, you know? And if you don't have it, then at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Let's work on it. Be creative. Like, just, if you know that you ain't trying to play ball, or you ain't trying to sell drugs, or you ain't trying to do graffiti, or you ain't trying to do what everybody in the hood is doing, and you got this one special gift that you may sing, dance, rap, skate, cartwheel, volleyball, lacrosse, spinning tops, you might be the best yo-yo player in the world. But if you don't believe in yourself and you don't at least try it, you never know. You never know. And that's how my homies look at me. Like, yo, you a skateboarder, bro. Like, we from the hood, Stevie. Like, you made a toy hot.
Right.
I think that's pretty dope, though. I think that's pretty dope.
No, that's
it's
fire.
A toy. You know what I mean? Like, I became like the best yo-yo dude in the world, and like he wear do-rags, and like I done heard so much like, hey, ain't you like the gangbang surfer? I'm like, wow,
that's wild.
It's whatever though. But no matter what I'm doing, they know that Stevie Williams was always pushing the culture forward as much as he can with his own mic. And if he had help, it was dope.
I love that challenge that you had positioned to the live chat a little bit ago. You're like, what are you doing to push the culture forward, what you were blessed with? I think that's a question we should ask ourselves every single day to make sure that you're living in your passion, living in your happiness. And, at the end of the day, we're not on this earth by ourselves. So if you would do something and it can impact others in a really great way, definitely step up to the plate and do it. And that kind of helps me transition into, really getting back into, I think it was maybe 2003. I want to bring up your part in the DC video that is an iconic piece of footage in skateboarding history, because you stepped up to the plate. This is what you did for the culture. You skating in your own shoe, first of all. That's hard. Yeah. In a wife beater, baggy jeans, that's hard. Can you take me back to this moment? What were you feeling? What was your life like? What did this video do for your life after it got posted?
I was making money. I went from the hood. I had 2 other video parts that came out before this. And I had already traveled the world. As I'm looking at this, I was in Miami, Barcelona, Milan, Philly. I was straight from the hood, straight on tour, and they took me around the world. I was just skating, having fun, and just being me, I was homeless for 5 years before I got put on by chocolate. So having a brand like chocolate and having a brand like BC take me around the world, it was the best thing I could ever. It was dope, you know what I mean? So when I look at these video parts, I see my childhood, and I seen that no matter how much trouble I used to get into, no matter how much people didn't really believe in me, because I always hung out with, the hood. This video changed my life. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, it really did.
That's so dope.
In a great positive way. I look back at this and say, I'm glad. I can look back in this and say, I'm glad people didn't say that Stevie Williams was a waste of talent.
For sure.
That means a lot to me, though, because that has been in the conversation a bunch of times. But as I look back and see the impact and how much people respect what I've done and the success of DGK, I'm proud to say that I wasn't a waste of time.
For sure. I mean, everybody in live chat, if you don't understand what's going on right now, you're literally, it's like pulling up to KD's crib and watching game film with Kevin Durant. That's what you're doing right now with Stevie Williams. This is the most rarest opportunity to watch Stevie kind of give commentary on where he was at. This is 17 years later.
Right there. That was all-star.
A
lot of these places I've been to for the first time, and it was just hotels, money, just life. So I was just, even though I was listening to hip hop and Jay-Z and all that stuff so much, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't doing my thing just like they was. I was 100%. Putting on every time I stepped out that tour van or every city I went to. You couldn't tell me I wasn't doing my thing.
Now here's how much you were doing your thing. So when I was thinking about this show, I was thinking about like what I'm aware and all this stuff, and I had to break out like a Guess Jeans shirt.
Yes, boys, yeah.
You was a dude who was like into fashion and skateboarding. You know, typically back in the day, you know, it was not cool for like skateboarders didn't want to be into fashion, but you did it in a way that was organic because where you come from, we got to be fresh. Yeah. And in when you skating, you got to be good. That's the only thing that matters is your skills, right?
That's all that matters. Yeah.
I had to pull out the Guess Jeans
I see that.
You was the dude with like you was wearing, you know,
Guess jeans,
$300-$400 jeans, Guess jeans, polo. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't understand that is if you look at anybody skating today, people now skate with the fresh stuff like the Gucci pants or like, you know, they always have some type of flair in it. Yeah. And, you know, obviously.
It wasn't no Instagram and Facebook and all that back then. So I wasn't doing it to show off. I was doing it to flex. Like, yo, I spent $800 on these jeans. I'm skating in these jeans. Or I'm going to McDonald's on my skateboard. And the girl's like, is those Ibizu jeans? I'm like, yeah, you already know. They're like, why you got Ibizu jeans and riding a skateboard? See, that don't click. Yep. I'm like, you don't even know nothing. But see, that back then it was about being ill. It wasn't about nothing else. It was just about being ill. It wasn't about, oh, I'm about to show my little photo shoot today for Instagram and let everybody know what I'm wearing. No, I'll pop up at McDonald's. I'll pop up on skating. And they like, he's skating. But if you knew, like if you was a hustler, that you was about getting money and you was into the fashion, you can be like, is he skating in those Ibizu jeans? I can't even afford those. Why is he all on the ground in a skateboard on some $800 jeans? But 20 years later, now it makes sense.
That's too far ahead of like
that's too far.
17 years. Like that's so far ahead of the game that it's funny to talk about now and really, you know, observe the culture and see what's going on. One thing I like to do here, because we got a live chat that's always popping, always asking questions. Yeah, somebody had mentioned earlier when we were watching the DC video skate park, they was like, yo, the chocolate part that you had was legendary.
That was the one.
One thing I love to do with the live chat is like, it's not just a conversation between me and you. Well, biggest thing I love about caffeine is like the audience is literally part of the show. So I love to end off every show with the live chat, getting some Q&A questions. You know what I'm saying? So if everybody's in the live chat, definitely ask Stevie Williams a question that's fire. No, how did you get into skateboarding questions? Go look up those interviews on YouTube. Ask some fire questions. You got the man sitting right here. Legend. Definitely ask some amazing questions, and we'll pick a couple for Stevie to rock with.
I see some questions.
Let's see.
They said, do you ever feel like giving up, and how did you overcome that barrier? Let me answer that one.
Yeah, for sure. Get it in. Shout out to Galan for asking that.
Yeah. Man, just believing in myself and also questioning myself at the same time. That's what, because when you believe in yourself and you question yourself, you have to answer those questions for yourself because there's nobody else to answer those questions for you. So therefore, the answer lies in your question. You know what I mean?
That's deep. It's simple, but it's deep.
It's simple, but it's deep. And after a while, you understand, oh, this is why I'm doing this. And then go harder.
I love that.
But if you feel like, oh, man, I don't got it in me to do this, then you be prepared to give up and then watch somebody else do it and just don't hate. Just don't hate because you gave up. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that. We got next question. We got Nate Frost says, what are the best Nikes to skate in? Like you said, you're somebody who skated for almost every single
everything.
Like
right?
I said, once I saw you skating the Air Max 95s, I knew you was ill because like that's just wild shoe to skate in. But what's the best Nike?
I used to skate in Timbs too. The best Nikes, damn. I would say the Dunks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like the sole of the Dunks. And depending on the fabric that they use for the upper, whether it's like suede or the leather that Virgil used for those dunks was like the old school 97 Averex leather, which was dope. It wasn't like new
that
buff
tough,
or
but soft leather.
Yeah, that soft butter 97 leather. But more so like the soles of the dunk. And then I'm just a huge Nike fan, period, that when I got a check or I got money, even before I was sponsored, we would go to Foot Locker and buy Nikes and try to skate and the dopest sneakers possible. This is before Nike had a team,
right,
and all of that stuff. This was just hood dreams of having some money and buying some Nikes to be fly. You know, wearing Nikes always mean that you fly, especially if they clean. So, but the sole of the dunk is amazing.
For sure. You think because of the sole, you feel like the sole is so low profile, it gives you a little bit more board feel? Is that something that I personally don't skateboard, but just from being around people, like I know board feel is important to a lot of people when it comes to shoes.
Yeah, the homie just put up a chat, the trifecta. He's right. It looked dope, feel fresh, and it's just the feeling that you get for putting on some dope sneaks is that same feeling I take for wearing dope sneaks and doing dope tricks. So you got dope sneaks, dope tricks, dope style. And everybody can't pull that off. But you can have a dope style and dope tricks, but your sneaks look all messed up. And the girls is laughing at you. So to push the culture forward, because you can't front, there's way better girls feeling skaters now. There's way better looking girl skaters. And the girls are kicking it with skaters more than they're kicking it with like rappers, kind of. It's weird. It's dope because we got the styles. So it's dope that Nike and skateboarding is a part of the new trends. And my daughter, she wear Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
You see me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
My daughter, she wear Air Force Ones, and sometimes I gotta lace up her shoes for her. But like, no, you can't wear them like that. You're gonna be around me. You gotta wear them the right way. So, you know, Nike has been in my family, and I don't even skate for Nike. I just love the way it makes me feel because I love to look fresh. And then everything else after that, you know, it's whatever.
I respect it. We got Ty Zink asks, what are the qualities that have helped you to get where you are?
Man, the qualities is moral qualities that I was raised with by my mom and my dad. Even though I was raised with my mom, I still have my dad in my life. And I told my mom the other day that I appreciate how she raised me, and I also appreciate how my dad raised me as well when I would be with him, because I kind of see that in my kids too. So I'm gonna explain it to you and y'all. Morally, with knowing the difference between right and wrong, having a choice to do good or do bad, and having the discipline to make the right choice, and priorities and responsibility is like what I pride myself on. My morals, my pride, and my responsibility. So that kind of keeps me in line and guided with what I want to do. And when I know that this decision isn't morally correct and I still decide to do it, then, you know, I have to live with those consequences. Same thing with my priorities and same thing with my responsibilities. I can't depend on anybody to do my responsibilities for me, because those are my responsibilities. And my responsibilities are my priorities, because if I don't put those first in my life, then I'll be dependent on somebody else to do something for me. And I'm not really that type of person. I'll get my work done. I love my family. I love my kids. I love my job. I love my fans. And I do it because I think it's expected of me to come through. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that I pride myself on, and having like a peace of mind and knowing that, you know, whatever choice that I make is the choice that I will have to deal with that consequence, whether it's good or bad. So
fire. I think that was a great question and a great answer. I think that was cool. Like we going deep on this episode. I love it.
I'm pretty deep though, you know what I mean? So I ain't even gonna
respect it. You know, there was a couple fun questions that were asked, and you know, Stevie's a busy guy, so want to take up too much of your time. But the last two questions that I saw out there were, one, what is your favorite trick to land?
My favorite trick is any trick I can do that make me look dope. I can do a bunch of tricks, but whatever make me look like I'm still doing my thing, that's my favorite trick.
I respect it. And then the last question that I think is a great question is,
what's that?
Give us one crazy skate story from a different country. It could be like your favorite spot to skate, or like the cops pulled up.
Well, I'm gonna say this
country.
The best country for me to skate in my whole life, and I've been going there for close to 20 years, and it's actually probably been 20 years I've been going to this country, and every time I go, I leave feeling like I still don't have enough of this country. From skating to hanging out to people to living, I have to give it up to Barcelona.
Yo.
Barcelona, La Ramblas, Macba. I spent 20 years of my life going back and forth from America to Spain. I have some of the closest friends in the world. The best skate tricks I've ever done has been in that city. I go there, they treat me like I'm a native, and I have stories and best friends in that city that I love it, yo. I love the city of Barcelona.
I'm not gonna lie though, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater put me on to Barcelona from a young age. Yeah. And when I went to Europe for the first time, I made sure to go to Barcelona, and it was incredible. Like, it's crazy how like video games can literally like take your imagination somewhere, and when you get there, like, yo, I remember seeing this. And like,
I was in Barcelona in the middle of nowhere skating at this little skate spot filming. We was like in this little plaza.
Yeah.
And I had on like, I must have looked exactly like the video game. So it was all of these kids over there, and they kept pointing and looking at me, but they didn't skate though. They were just neighborhood kids. So one of the kids came up to me and was like, Tony Hawk? And I was like, oh yeah, Tony Hawk. Yo, the whole neighborhood came out. Whole neighborhood came out, like grandmoms and aunties and girls, and they was just like, yo, that's the guy from the video game. That's when I knew the impact of me being in a video game and me being black in a video game was impactful, because they couldn't even really speak English, but they recognized me from the video game. Yeah. And to them, I was a celebrity in their neighborhood. Like if it was my hood, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Barcelona always introduced me to a culture that I wasn't even trying to even get into, and I fell in love with it. And I haven't fallen out of love with Barcelona since day one.
I love that. Shout out to Barcelona, mad good food.
Shout out to Barcelona, all of the social clubs and my homies out there that push the culture forward. Everybody know that we really get into a good conversation about culture. Everybody knows that my whole fight and drive and position of success has been to do what I can to at least push the culture a little bit forward than the last. And that's my obligation.
Hey man, you've been doing it for over 20 years, and I hope that you continue. I hope that they, give you a monument. I hope they, make Love Park a sanctioned skate park. You know what I'm saying? I really hope that, with high fashion really embracing skate culture and all this stuff, that people like yourself who come from these cities, that a lot of people get inspired by a success story like yours, that you really get your flowers on this show on UNDS. We definitely give you your flowers. Everybody in live chat was going crazy for you. You gave
that. Shout out to the fans.
you dropped some dope.
The streets know though. It's like the streets know.
Yeah.
But it's like the companies that never wanted to take a chance on an inner city kid. And that was like my story. Like I had to go through all of that stuff first. So I give props to all of the little dope kids that got all of the deals, that's pushing the culture forward and achieving things that I wasn't able to achieve in my career. I love seeing the little dudes do that. I root for them because somebody got to do it. Like I said, I didn't complete everything, but at the same time, in my era, I was the one that they looked at like, why would we invest into a Stevie Williams? Like, black people don't skate, or oh, he just from the hood. Like we ain't supporting the hood. But then it turned around, and now high fashion and all these brands is like supporting hood shit. But I was the one that they said no to, so it's kind of like, whatever. I don't care. DGK is all day, and that's what I always had to for the streets to support, to know that regardless if Stevie walked away with the Nike deals or the high fashion deals, like I was still authentic enough for the streets to support. And yeah, I'm 1,000% fine with that, straight up.
So, I'm not trying to make you feel like we're trying to blow your head up or anything, but I do want to say thank you for being part of this show, because this show in itself is something brand new to the sneaker culture that, you know, the team at Caffeine took a chance on, you know what I'm saying? And again, you're again early on the wave. You know,
this is the story of my life, yo, straight up.
Because of quarantine, everybody's now live streaming. We debuted the show before the quarantine, before live streaming became like our only option. But for me, I was just like, yo, back in the day, I used to just pull up in Soho or downtown and go to a shop and just chill and kick it with people and talk to people. But now with the internet and live streaming, we can do this with homies all around the world. So I always felt like, yo, that connection to people and finding people who fuck with the same things you fuck with and, you know, just want to build with each other, like this community we have here. I felt like live streaming was, you know, that next step for the sneaker culture. Like we got sneaker YouTube, we got, you know, all that stuff, but a live stream show where you got the audience going crazy. And it feels like we at the shop kicking it. Like for me, that's the next wave. And I appreciate you for coming through and being part of the early wave on the live stream on Caffeine.
Word.
And
I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. I got them right here.
Okay, we got a quick surprise. Let's see what Stevie got. Shout out to everybody who's kicking it with us during the overtime. You know, I got a couple of things to run through during the overtime as well.
These the red boys.
Hey,
that Virgil sent that I destroyed.
The skated joints.
Yeah, destroyed.
Now that's fire.
So I'm gonna have my homie. I'm gonna make these into an art piece. I'm gonna have my homie put it in a glass and like do some dope stuff around it, turn it into some art, and then sell them so people can actually have the only original Nike Virgil dunks that Stevie Williams skated in, and have them on the wall.
These
ones is fresh. I got the green ones, and everybody else, they can auction and have these, but it'll be dope. You know what I mean?
That's fire that you know you're doing that for the people. And I didn't expect you to drop a surprise like that, but that's dope. Like you really like dropped knowledge darts for everybody. First of all, life gems, and you came through with a really dope surprise and showed everybody that you do skate your sneakers. The word UNDS means to Undeadstock. And what that means is to wear a fresh pair of kicks.
Fresh, baby.
And those dunks are definitely UNDS. So shout out to you for
shout out to UNDS, baby. Hell yeah.
That was really dope.
Thank you too, man, for creating a platform so I can get on to talk to everybody. And shout out to the fans for supporting and understanding how hard it is just to stay original when there's so much just unoriginality going on, and it's easier to follow the trend. It's hard to be original and stand by it. And even if your stuff sucks, stand by your stuff that sucks. Because eventually the stuff that sucks turns into dope stuff. Because they used to clown me big time, laugh at me for riding a skateboard, laugh at my mom and my family. Mm-hmm. And now those same people, which I love and appreciate, threw me a whole block party to say that we love you and we appreciate you. And even though we didn't understand what you was doing, we love you for doing what you did. We're sorry, and keep it going. You can always come back here. And so they throw me like a block party every year in my hood. when I go back to Philly.
That's
the
great.
same dangerous blocks that people scared to go down to this day.
That's crazy.
They give it up for me. All of everybody that was like had the jokes back in the day and all of that. They all was just like, yo, we love you and we love what you're doing. Keep it up. So all of the kids that skate in that neighborhood now, it's like, yo, Stevie Williams, you don't know about. So it's dope. It's really it's a real honor to get appreciated and to get the roses while I'm still here. And I appreciate you guys taking the time off for letting everybody be known. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I appreciate you. I know you got a lot of things to do. Enjoy some beautiful weather if you got a backyard. You know, try to get some sun. And again, thank you so much for being part of UNDS episode 7. And definitely catch you on the flip side. I appreciate you. Stay safe.
Hell yeah. Likewise.
Influencing for the next 20, 40 years, please.
That's going to be y'all. Y'all going to be influencing everybody for the next 20, 30, 40 years. I'm going to sit back and be watching and in my rocking chair, just with a smiling from ear to ear. You feel me? Just make sure, the only thing I can say is that if you're going to do something for the culture, just make sure you do it authentic and make sure you try to push the envelope as much as possible.
100%. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
For everybody in live chat, we're going to get into the reminder of the sneaker giveaway. Stevie, take it easy.
No doubt. Thank you, guys.
We still got 3 pairs of Nike Dunk Viotex to give away. Again, one of my favorite sneakers of all time. And the best way for you guys to win the giveaway, and you guys all know this if you're part of the stream every week on Thursday, especially the quarantine streams on the weekend, all you got to do is just engage, just be part of the show. We created this show so you can be part of it and you can have conversations with Stevie Williams, with Madison Blank, with Mercedes Lewis, with Sharif O'Neal, with Walshy Fire. We had so many dope guests in these past 7 episodes. And I'm looking forward to more episodes, more fire guests, and more heat for your feet. So stay engaged, because you know I like to wrap up with, you know, talking about the drops that I'm looking forward to. And we got some crazy drops happening that I'm looking forward to. And the first drop that I'm looking forward to is not necessarily a sneaker drop. Shout out to Nate Frost while she responded to your DM. That's fire. I love that. I'm glad we set that up for you on the UNDS show. So the first drop that I want to talk about is, yes, P-Quibs, the Supreme Murakami box logo that drops tomorrow. That's going to be one of the hardest cops of the entire year. That's one of the most fire t-shirts in 2020. I'm not going to lie. I own the Supreme Louis Vuitton box logo, dead stock, and I'm waiting to frame it in an art piece. And if I get this Murakami Supreme, I'm framing it right next to the Louis Vuitton. Is everybody in the live chat, is this a big cop or a big drop? Please drop your comments below. Is this a big cop or big drop? Yeah, everybody's trying to cop. I spoke to a couple friends. They say they have their bots ready. I don't have a bot. If you have a bot for free, look out for your boy. I like size large and Supreme, so look out for your boy. I appreciate it. I'm gonna be out there tomorrow with my laptop, my phone, my iPad, everything. And I'm gonna try to cop too, hopefully. Yep. Now, the next drop I'm looking forward to is actually something super low key, but it always hits in big waves. We're pulling up the CDG Converse Chuck Taylor. Now, Comme des Garçons, we know how popular their Chuck Taylors are. I think this is a fresh look. I love the all cream look with the sketch, outline sketch sneakers or sketch Converses tend to be really popular. Don't take, my opinion, but whenever you draw on a pair of Chuck Taylors and drop it, it tends to sell out pretty quick. So shout out to CDG and shout out to it being hand drawn, because similar to my shoe, I love seeing other designers, kind of solidify my vision in terms of what a sneaker design looked like. So what do you guys think? Are you guys messing with the CDG Converse Chuck Taylor or not? Is it a big cop or big drop? Not that you have to cop it right away, but eventually. I think it's a cop for me. to be honest. I like low-key sneakers like this, even though it's kind of loud with the all-over print. But I think these are going to look amazing when you beat them up, and it's going to be an amazing festival shoe. Whenever festivals decide to open up, this is going to be an amazing festival shoe for sure. They go nice with some denim. Definitely go nice with some black denim for sure. Shout out to Vanessa Swishing. She likes them. Channy Bree says, I'll flip these. Shout out to you. Now, the last drop that I'm looking forward to, and which is a pretty unique drop, is the Nike Air Force One Tearaway. Now, this concept has been around in the Nike archive since the early 2000s with the Vandals. Any one of my OG sneakerheads in the chat, you guys remember the Geoff McFredridge Vandals. Sorry if I'm butchering his last name. But this concept was kind of originally done 03, 04, 05, around there. And they're finally putting on Air Force One. This is actually a women's release. So I'm not sure what size these are going up to. There's no official release date, but it's dropping spring 2020. And as you can see, you can use like a X-Acto knife or a lighter to kind of burn off the top layer and give that exposed look. So I think those are fire. What do you guys think? Nate Frost says, I hate these. What do you guys think? Big cop, big drop. How do you feel about the Nike Air Force One Tearaway? Fire. Let's see. Macaroni says, I don't like these. The color blocking is interesting. Now pass. I will say I'm a little disappointed in the color blocking under the layer. It's not as fire, but if you don't cut off the whole thing, I'm pretty sure you can make a fire colorway. Travel beaters for sure. I really love when Nike does tearaway thing. Yeah. Tearaway, I can see tearaway being like a real big thing in the next year or so. Like, just because people love DIY, people love, you know, customizing and stuff like that. So Nike has been doing a good job of staying on trend and realizing that people want to add their own flair to their sneakers. So yeah, Peak Webs is right. Cloud Air Force One, they did their thing with the tearaway silk, which was fire. But shout out to customized sneakers. Now, before we get out of here, because you guys definitely stayed on the chat for an extra 18 minutes, hitting overtime. I think this is maybe the third episode that we hit overtime in, and it's always great when we have a guest who loves to go deep. Stevie Williams, did I not tell you, like, super cool dude. Out of everything that he's been through, everything that he's achieved, this dude literally just sat here for a whole hour and just was really invested into you guys' questions. He was super chill. He, was telling you about his struggles, his sacrifices, his family, and his successes. Like I said, one of the biggest moments of UNDS history is watching an original skate video with Stevie Williams. I don't know if you guys will understand the magnitude of that for at least like maybe a couple weeks or whatever, but yo, that was fire. Nate Frost says we need a reunion show. That'd be fire if we got all the guests on a reunion show. Everybody's busy. Everybody's schedules are busy, but we're going to try to make something special happen. So yeah, shout out to everybody being in the live chat, hitting overtime with me. You know, I really appreciate you guys. We work really hard on this show. So shout out to the whole UNDS team. Shout out to the whole Caffeine team. And like I was telling Stevie, everybody here in this chat right now, I want you to know we're very early on this live streaming wave for sneaker culture. You know what I'm saying? There are other sneaker shows, there are other sneaker podcasts and stuff like that. But in my opinion, this literally feels like us hanging out in a sneaker line, just talking to each other. But we're not really camping. We're just chilling at the crib, chilling wherever you are, and enjoying some conversation. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, we'll say the same thing that Stevie said 17 years ago and look back and be like, damn, we were like really early on the live stream wave on sneaker shows. So hopefully that's the case. We're going to make it happen. Thank you guys for rocking with us. My name is Ray Polanco Jr. And you know what time it is. It's time for me to get up out of here. Time to get some dinner. I'm extremely hungry. My kombucha is done. I definitely grabbed the ginger lemon flavor. Shout out to everybody asking the kombucha flavor throughout the show. I definitely saw those comments. Ginger lemon kombucha flavor, A1. So hit me in the Discord. The winner of the giveaway is going to be announced in 48 hours on the Discord. So you know where to peep it. Shout out to last week's winner, Nate Frost and Chris Helagos. This week, we're pulling 3 names, and you'll be able to match with me and a gang of 3 other people with a pair of Nike Dunk Biotechs. Appreciate you guys. I'm signing off. You guys have a great, great weekend. Be safe. Wear your mask when you go outside. And, believe in yourself, like Stevie said. Believe in yourself and question yourself. Take it easy, guys. Have a great night. Peace. I'm tuning into the NFL Draft.